We live in a world where it's pretty easy to feel terrible about yourself, both physically and mentally. Modern working culture is meaningless and soul crushing. Social media makes you feel inferior to literally everyone else on the planet. It's harder than ever to make friends, dating feels impossible, and our economic system seems to be collapsing, with the American dream fading into obscurity with every passing day. We seem to be in a worse place than our parents, everyone seems to hate each other, and it's impossible to plan for our long term future because of how chaotic everything has become globally. How do we set ourselves up for success in the future if we don't know what the future is going to be like due to the increasing sense of global instability? With these circumstances, it's easy to feel terrible all the time. It's easy to fall into a trap where every day feels pointless, where each moment rolls into the next with no sense of progress or continuity between them. A trap that we try to disarm through overstimulating social media content, new video games, and the latest season of the newest remake of the show or movie that you've already seen before. And while we distract ourselves, we feel fine. But the second those distractions end, we go right back to where we were before and try to repeat the process. It's exhausting, and it feels like there's no real escape other than the temporary one that comes from the scrolling. How do we change our lives to make it so that this isn't the case anymore? How do we not feel terrible all the time? Well, it starts with your environment. If you go back throughout history, a majority of global humans lived in rural environments for almost all of it. In fact, it was only in 2007 that the global urban population surpassed the rural population, making it the first time that more people lived in cities than in rural environments. This meant that humans have spent about 0.009% of their history living primarily in cities. And cities are cool. You have access to more jobs, more people, more services, and you're far less likely to starve to death than our ancestors were. We have grocery stores and gyms and Uber Eats and trash pickup. Cities are amazing. But while they are great and convenient, they're also isolating, noisy, and chaotic. If you live in a big city, you have a constant buzz of background noise. Cars driving by, people blasting annoying music on the radio and honking their horns in traffic, upstairs neighbors stomping around all hours of the night like they're bowling or something like that, sirens, people talking, the list goes on and on. And as we've gotten used to our environments in these cities, we've learned to tune these things out. Living next to a highway becomes less and less obnoxious the longer that we're there, and those upstairs neighbors become mere background noise. Unless they're mine, because mine never know how to stop making noise. But the fact of the matter is that these things never really go away. Our brains aren't made to be constantly stimulated with noise and distractions all the time. Going back to how we used to live, things were quiet and relatively simple. Sure, we weren't fully isolated and living in complete silence, but the level of noise that we were used to hearing on a daily basis was far less than it is today. Obviously, I'm not going to say anything bad about technology and how we need to go back to living in the woods, because that's not my point. My point is that this noise is drowning out your ability to think, your ability to discover what you want, who you are, and who you'd like to become. And right now, I'm talking solely in the sense of literal noise, the kind that you hear with your ears. I'm not even getting into the mental clutter or overstimulation yet. That's coming soon though, so don't worry. My point is this. The first way to feel better mentally and physically is to be present, to get a little bit away from the constant noise and give your brain some room to think. You don't need to think about anything in particular or solve any problems. You just need to open up the possibility of having thoughts flow into your head. If you just spend 30 minutes a week in nature, whether in a park, in the woods, outside in your garden, or somewhere else a bit away from the noise and the chaos and the constant stimulation of other people, you'll begin to feel less overwhelmed. You'll begin to feel more present, and that constant urge that there's something else you should be doing or something else you should be thinking about will go away. You'll become human again, and the constant anxiety caused by being overstimulated in your physical environment will decrease. And you'll finally begin to figure out what else it is that's been bothering you and making you feel terrible, instead of spending all of your energy being distracted. When was the last time that you sat down in a room and simply thought? In complete boredom, letting your mind wander and seeing where it takes you. When was the last time you went on a walk without a podcast, a solace video, or music on? When was the last time that you drove in your car without listening to some form of mental stimulation? When was the last time that you were somewhere that was completely silent? Chances are, if you're like me, you don't get that very often. And all of the stimulation is clogging up your brain and making it so that you can't solve any of your problems. So you wake up every day feeling exactly as you did the day before and wonder why nothing is changing. But for things to change, you need to create space in a physical sense so that you can give your brain some breathing room and let new thoughts flow. From here, you may realize what else is bothering you, because just sitting in silence isn't going to make you feel better, but it is the first step. The second step is built off of the foundation of this one, and it involves clearing your mind from other forms of stimulation. We're constantly pulled in so many different directions by other people, other responsibilities, and other things that we think we should be doing. There are 100 new TV shows every week, 100 new games every day, and 100 billion new social media posts to check out when we get home from work. We have to text people back, we have to call our family members, we have to check our Discord, our text, Snapchat, the list goes on. Take a step back and think about these things that you're doing. How many of them do you actually need to do? Do you actually need to keep up with everyone's posts on Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and every other platform imaginable at the same time? Do you really need to scroll on TikTok, get off, scroll on Instagram, and then go on YouTube? What are you drowning out? Why are you hiding from your thoughts and trying to fill them with pointless content that ends up making you feel worse than before you watched it? There's no reason to be this stimulated, and there are so many different vices that we use to keep ourselves from being bored. So, once you get in a physical place of silence, try not to fill it right away with something else noisy. It defeats the purpose. If you spend a little bit of time in this clear mindset every single week, you can begin to figure out solutions to problems that you didn't even know you had, and feel like you're finally making some progress on making your life your own. And without all this overstimulation wasting your time, you're going to realize that you actually have much more free time in your day than you may have thought. Instead of feeling like the day slipped by, rolling into the next one without you really wanting it to, you'll see that you're actually more free than you thought you were. That space in your environment and in your brain causes you to be more present, and now you're confused about why you thought there was so much going on all the time, and you could fill the gap in your schedule with more meaningful things. And that's step 3. Finding meaning in the things that you do. We live in a consumerist world where we're taught to consume everything all the time. More content, more shopping, more TV and movies, and more YouTube videos, and blah blah blah. The time that you do spend outside of work is wasted on empty activities that provide no value to yourself or your self-worth. You may enjoy a TV show, but you're never going to feel good after watching it. You may feel bad, you may feel nothing, but you're never going to walk away from watching a TV show feeling proud of yourself. And to feel better, you need to find meaning in the things that you do in your free time, meaning that you aren't going to find by simply consuming. You need to create. You need to use that time to create instead of consume. I'm not saying that you need to become an artist or a musician or a sculptor or something extremely complicated. I'm not saying that you need to create content. I'm saying that you need to produce something that you see value in. It could be building with Legos, creating a 3D model on Blender that's never used in anything, doing a paint by numbers, writing a poem, or just doing some weird kind of arts and crafts. The stuff you create doesn't need to be pretty, it doesn't need to be sold, it doesn't need to be shared, and it doesn't need to be considered or even thought about by anyone else. What you need is to feel as if you're bringing something into the world instead of always taking from the world in the form of consumption. So, what do you enjoy consuming, and how do you turn that into something that you can create yourself? I see creation and consumption as a yin and a yang. They balance each other out, and if you do too much of one without the other, you're going to feel unsatisfied. Instead of constantly ordering your food from a meal delivery service or something like Uber Eats, spend some time learning to cook. Again, you don't need to be a chef and you don't need to impress anyone, but you need to feel like you're creating something in the world. Instead of buying a new shirt when you have a hole in it, learn to sew. Create something, build a game for fun, build something in Minecraft for fun. Just create without consumption, and that balance will start to feel a little more natural. And you'll start to feel a little bit better about how you spend your time out of work and find some meaning. Now, to be honest, I really do think that you should focus on doing this in the physical world, around other people and other real-life humans. But you don't have to spend all of your time in the physical world and disconnect from social media and the internet altogether. I don't think that's a solution because the way the internet works is that sometimes it's more relevant than real life. So if you're looking for a place to build something meaningful, you should check out our new Discord and Minecraft server called Third Place MC. The Minecraft server is a private, members-only server exclusively for people who are in the Discord, and everyone's been working together to build an insanely cool world with towns and villages and highways and metro systems and mini-games and all sorts of other really cool stuff. It's a great place to make new friends and meet new people online who are interested in topics like these, and it's available only for people who are in the Discord, so join the Discord using the link in the description and apply to join the Minecraft server, and I hope to see you there. And if you're enjoying this video, consider supporting the channel on the Buy Me a Coffee page. This page exists as a way to keep the channel going because I'm never going to take sponsorships on here, and the Buy Me a Coffee page also helps to support the Discord and keep the Minecraft server running so that everyone can enjoy them for the foreseeable future. All supporters will get shouted out at the end of all future videos, and we'll also get some special perks in the Discord and Minecraft servers, so check that out if you're interested in supporting, and I really do appreciate it. So, with space to think and new activities to fill the void left behind from overconsumption, you're starting to make some progress on feeling better about yourself. But you're still going to be limited by your physical body. You can have great mental health, but if your physical health is declining, the anxiety and unease felt by this is going to radiate across the rest of your life. And this is where I think that eating clean is genuinely one of the most important things to help you feel better, both mentally and physically. Now, before you click off, hear me out. I used to eat so bad. I would eat Chick-fil-A multiple times per week. I'd eat fast food and ice cream and sweets and junk food, and I never really cared because I have a fast metabolism and I didn't gain weight. In fact, I would often try to eat this stuff to help me gain weight because at the time I was insecure about being skinny. But this stuff absolutely wrecked my mental and physical health. These foods are full of bad ingredients that come from factories and are laced with so many chemicals that they probably shouldn't even be legal to begin with. I mean, check this out. This is the ingredient list for a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich. You cannot make this stuff up. Something that appears to be bread, chicken, pickles, some sort of sauce, and that's it, looks like this. And this is the case across the board for almost all fast food, a majority of restaurant food, and even a lot of the stuff that you buy in the grocery store. All this food is fried and cooked in seed oils that are processed with industrial processing plants, bleached, and cleaned with something called hexane, which is literally poison. I'm not trying to fearmonger you, but I do think it's important to know what you're putting into your body. Going back to what I said earlier about how our urban environments have evolved, our food environments have evolved as well. Never throughout history have we eaten these types of ingredients, and our bodies are not made for this stuff. Sure, you could eat McDonald's every single day and you'll probably survive, but that doesn't mean that you should. Creating a diet that's centered around whole foods that exist in nature is the simplest way to get in shape, lose weight, and have the best mental health of your life. There are a lot of studies that link your diet with your mental health, and I would love to dive into these in a future video because I really like this type of stuff, so let me know if you want to see that, but for now, we're going to stay focused on this video. But in my opinion, it's a simple formula. Quality in equals quality out. If you put low quality ingredients and chemicals into your body through processed foods, you're going to have low quality outputs in the form of your thoughts or your physical actions. Your body runs off of food and you won't operate at full efficiency unless you eat something that is fully efficient. And processed foods are not that. Again, I'm not trying to shame you. I have no issue with this stuff, but I just want to let you know that I do find it important in the grand scheme of things with mental health. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be expensive. Just try to eat ingredients that exist in nature over processed counterparts as much as you can. And it doesn't have to be perfect. The closer that something is to its natural form, the better that it is for you. An apple is much better for you than homemade apple pie, but homemade apple pie is still so much better for you than McDonald's apple pie or a processed one in the grocery store. I eat ice cream all the time, but I eat ice cream that has clean ingredients that are just milk, cream, eggs, and vanilla. I eat vanilla ice cream and I put a scoop of peanut butter in it. That is my dessert. And if you want a comparison as to why that matters, look at the list of ingredients in a Ben & Jerry's chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream. This doesn't even make sense. Why do we need this many ingredients in ice cream? I will say, it's hard to eat perfectly clean, and it's something that I've been working on improving for years now, but just start by looking at something and seeing how close it is to what exists in nature. Again, I'm extremely passionate about this stuff, and I know a lot of people are going to call me pretentious or annoying or fear-mongering, because it happened before when I made an entire video about this that I now deleted. But I promise, this is genuinely the most important thing I've ever done for my physical and mental health. My workouts are better, my sleep is better, my mood is more consistent, and I accredit all of it to my diet. So if you want to talk about this a bit more, I made a channel in the Discord called Clean Eating, and feel free to hop in there and ping me, and I can walk you through my thought process with all of this stuff and kind of how I do it. But in short, again, try to be intentional with what you eat, and your physical body and your mental health will thank you. Your diet is one of the most important aspects of your body, and with a good diet, exercise isn't as important as you would think. You're not going to overeat chicken breasts like you would a bag of chips or Cheez-Its. So it's a lot harder to consume more than you need, and it's a lot easier to stay in shape. But the other angle of this does involve getting in shape through exercise. If you can clear space in your head, create instead of consume, and put good inputs into your body, the only other step of the formula is to keep your body operating and in good condition by moving it. Again, we've never been so sedentary in our lives. As humans, we're not made to sit as much as we do. You need to move around. I'm not saying that you need to join a CrossFit gym and start running marathons, because that's pretty unrealistic, and I know I'm sure as hell not going to do that myself. But you need to move around more than you do. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. There's no reason why someone who's not physically impaired or with a medical condition should not be able to go down 2 flights of stairs. If that's you, don't be ashamed. I'm not trying to be insensitive, but it's true, and it's something that you should strive to improve. Again, I don't want to tell you what you should or shouldn't do, so maybe should isn't the way to say it, but if you want to feel better, it's a good step to work towards that goal. So if that is you, you should try to take steps to solve the problem, because if you want to live a long life, you need to stay healthy. If you want to have kids and maybe one day meet your grandkids, this is something that you need to address now before it's too late. Again, you don't have to join a professional football league. Just go on short walks throughout the day or when you get home from work. Spend a little bit of time in the sun, wearing sunscreen of course. Go for a jog if you're feeling crazy. Do some yard work yourself for the exercise instead of paying someone else to cut your grass. Don't look at it as work, look at it as exercise. Go to the gym every once in a while, maybe try yoga, move in different ways, maybe try a sport or just learn to shoot hoops and play basketball. Your body is a gift, and I believe that you should utilize that gift or it'll be taken away from you. It's one of those things that if you don't spend a little bit of time on, you're going to regret it in the long run when you're 50 and unable to get up off the floor. Again, I'm not trying to be insensitive, and I understand that this is a little more complicated if you have a disability of some kind, but if you have the ability to move and you aren't, you're wasting it. There are so many people who have disabilities and would love to be able to walk down the stairs, but can't. And if you don't want to do it for yourself, you should at least do it for the people who wish they could. And by the time you start to do all of these things, you're already going to be feeling a bit better about yourself. You'll start to see progress with your body, you'll start to feel more confident, and you'll start to feel clear with your thoughts and ideas. But you can't do this alone. And this is what I often come back to with this channel, to build a community and to make the internet feel a little bit smaller. But you need to be involved in this process as well if you want to feel better. Once again, I know I sound like that guy, but humans have never been this socially isolated. Throughout history, we lived in groups of around 150 people or less, but we knew everyone around us. We ate dinner together, we gave gifts to our neighbors, we hunted and fished together, we built gardens together, we helped each other with our neighbors' kids. As our environments grew and people moved into cities, we're now around millions of other people. But there's so many of them that we never see the same faces and we never build that community like we used to. And a community is what you really need to tie all of this together. You can have a great body, a great mind, perfect mental health, but if you don't have other people to share these things with, it's going to be for nothing. So as difficult as this sounds, the final step is to try hard to feel uncomfortable. You have to embrace the discomfort of being around other people, having awkward conversations, making eye contact and laughing with other people to make life feel full. You need to take that first step and introduce yourself to an online community. You need to join an online community and chat with other people regardless of what you assume they're going to think about you. But even better, you need to get involved in physical communities in the real world. Go to coffee shops regularly and start to say hi to people that you recognize. I've been going to the same gym for over a year now, and the guy at the front desk knows my name now. I'm not friends with him, I don't talk to him at all other than checking in, but he knows it, and it makes the community feel a little bit closer. Go on apps like Meetup to find events in your area. Go to board game stores and join them for their weekly game nights. Find people to play Dungeons and Dragons with. Talk to someone in our Discord server and play Minecraft with them. Again, ideally, try to do this in the real world, and you'll start to make new friends who you can share experiences with. And if you can't do it in the real world or you aren't quite ready for it yet, get involved with those online communities where people are all gathered together for a similar purpose. I definitely want to make another video on clean eating because, again, I'm really passionate about it, and I do think it's one of the most life-changing things that I've ever done in my personal life. So if you want to see that, let me know in the comments. Or if you want to see any other video topics or there's something you're struggling with that you'd like to learn a bit more about and maybe I can help you, let me know there as well. How do you feel? Do you think any of these things will help you feel better? What's currently stopping you from doing these things? Let's chat and stay tuned for more videos like these. We will talk again soon.